That's it. Very good. And don't forget to speak very clearly.
Diagonally.
What did he say, dear?
Diagonally.
Welcome to the magical wizarding world, an enchanted society hidden around the next bend, behind the looking glass, and just past the corner of your eye, mere inches from the world we think we all know so well. Famously depicted in the adventures of the young wizard Harry Potter, this land and time is a part of our own, yet almost impossible to reach without the know-how and gifts afforded to wizards and witches. If you're given a chance to experience this wonderful parallel world, it will be a trip like no other, and leave you with an unparalleled sense of wonder. Pros. Unlike many other adventures through time and space, the Wizarding World requires no time travel and no unusual means of transportation to take your first step into. It exists in tandem with our own world, with passageways within many major cities. You just need to know where the doors are and have a method to open those doors. Supplies are as easy to access as anything you may want or need in your current world. Shops, inns, and all manners of amenities are readily available, and everyone conveniently speaks English. If you have a decent guide, travel throughout the Wizarding World will be faster and easier than virtually any form of available transportation in the modern world today. More importantly, exploring a world that exists as a hidden part of our own, where everything will be both familiar and yet alien at the same time, will be both eye-opening and wondrous. Cons. The secretive nature of the Wizarding World makes the first step extremely challenging. Virtually all access is protected by magical spells and enchantments which no muggle, a non-magical individual like most of us, can breach. Furthermore, the wizards and witches of this world guard the knowledge of their existence fiercely, and do not look kindly upon non-magical folk visiting their domain. Some may even respond to your presence with violence, so beware. Should you find your way in, though, there are numerous other challenges that you may find yourself unprepared for, as magic is the norm and those without access may find even the most basic tasks difficult or impossible. Magical creatures and beasts abound in this world, with powers and abilities that defy the laws of physics, including dragons, hippogriffs, boggarts, trolls, and even trees. Always heed the advice of your guide and be careful of even the most seemingly innocent things. Even books have been known to bite here. One more note, technology operates strangely here, and any devices you bring along might not work without magical support. This magic, however, is just as likely to turn that cell phone of yours into a rabbit or a hat, so keep this in mind. Getting around. So now that you have a basic idea of what to expect, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of how to navigate this magical land. Again, it is highly recommended that you acquire a trustworthy guide that can help you traverse this strange world and culture. The best ones can be hired through the Ministry of Magic's Muggle Relations Division. This is highly recommended, as you can at the same time fill out any visa and customs forms required, as well as potentially acquire those special permissions to travel through the Wizarding World. Though unfortunately, this privilege is limited to Muggles who are either direct family of a child who's been born gifted with magical abilities, or those assigned by the Muggle government to conduct business on its behalf, as both worlds maintain political ties. Otherwise, travelers may be forced to seek less reputable guides that can bypass these restrictions, but this would be at your own risk and is not advised. The necessities of survival. If you have a decent guide handy, all your necessities should be easily met. A decent wizard can conjure up anything from food, to shelter, to entertainment, to medical care. While they may potentially charge per service, as long as you can meet their price, you will want for nothing. Languages. Fortunately, the residents of the Wizarding World generally speak English, so communication is a snap. However, referencing Muggle-specific points such as political events, technology, internet memes, etc. will be met with total confusion. Currency. Wizards in Great Britain use a coin known as a galleon, comparable in size to a silver dollar and made of gold. Smaller denominations include the silver sickle coin, worth 1/17 of a galleon, and the copper knut, worth 1/493 of a galleon. A galleon is estimated to be worth $6.64 USD, or £4.93 British sterling, though this can only be converted either via the Ministry of Magic or at Gringotts Bank. However, some wizards are fascinated by Muggle culture and items, and providing a collector with a unique or interesting part of the Muggle world can net a decent trade. Travel. This can get a little hairy for non-magic users. On the one hand, traveling through certain parts of the Wizarding World are as easy as walking down the street. On the other, there are some places that can only be reached by magic. Wizards are capable of flying on broomsticks, riding enchanted flying cars, or simply teleporting between two spots using a variety of options, and sometimes even if the transportation itself isn't magical, the means to get to it is. Unless you can use magic yourself, always rely on your guide. Customs. Generally, the customs of the wizarding world are very similar to our own, and typical interactions with the locals won't require a lot of special preparation. However, magical denizens are for the most part completely involved with only their own world, and have no idea what most modern Muggle cultural references are. As such, avoid making references to technology, pop culture, or general Muggle history unless asked, in order to avoid confusion and embarrassment. Clothing. With the exception of those that come from Muggle parents, most wizards and witches know nothing about modern fashion. Unless you want to stand out, avoid accoutrements such as jeans, sneakers, printed tees, or anything that contains modern materials such as plastics or foam. Wizard clothing is usually a combination of robes, cloaks, and custom-made fabrics that can only be best described as neo-medieval. Colors can range from dour blacks and grays to wild, exciting colors with shining metal components, and everything in between. Blending in. As noted above, dressing the part and avoiding the odd reference to Muggle society will help you fit in with the locals, as well as being discreet with any technology you may have brought along on the trip. Not so much about frightening the locals with your mythical iPhone, as more that such items are simply uncommon here and quickly tie you to the Muggle world. Your inability to use magic or confusion regarding the culture of wizards and witches, however, will immediately peg you for what you are. If you want to blend in, avoid expressing too much shock and awe when magic is used in your presence. Dangers. As chaotic and wild as the power of magic can be, one can expect there to be certain risks in visiting this side of the world. Even those native to this land can find different situations perilous, and often train themselves from youth to survive such challenges. Magical creatures, enchanted items, and the locals themselves can all present a risk to unprepared Muggles, so it is highly advised that you do your homework in advance of any trips here. Don't stray from pre-planned paths, stick by your guide, and when in doubt about anything, from whether an animal is safe to approach to what to eat and drink, don't be afraid to ask. Still, despite the risks, the rewards of enjoying this wondrous land are wide and varied. Culture and civilization. One of the oldest institutions in the magical world, the Ministry of Magic represents the height of Wizarding World civilization and covers all things magical. It is the center of the body politic for Great Britain's wizards and witches, and offers a look into the grandeur and majesty of their governing body. One of the first sights greeting visitors as they pass down the gleaming entry hall flagged with perfect black marble are great golden statues depicting powerful wizards and witches of their history, as well as various fountains and edifices honoring the other magical creatures of the land such as goblins, centaurs, and more. The hustle and bustle of the Ministry's daily activities showcase just how populous and busy life in the wizarding world can be. Tours are available that show off the different departments and grand meeting halls of the Ministry, which have been in use for centuries. It is highly advised to remain with your tour group, lest strays face ejection or even potential punishment. And remember to visit the gift shop by the exit. While the Ministry exhibits the governing body of Britain's magical lands, Diagon Alley perfectly captures the culture of its people. Snuggled safely within the very heart of London, the alley offers something for everyone. Best known for its wide array of shopping and dining experiences, Diagon Alley is a cultural mecca for magical folks across Western Europe and draws tourists of all sorts throughout the year. Walk down its length of classic cobblestone streets and you can find a choice selection of clothing stores, entertainment venues, books, school supplies, sporting goods, animals, and an unlimited assortment of items specifically magical in nature. Peek your head in at Gringotts Bank, the most secure bank in all of the wizarding world. You'll marvel at the multitudes of hard-working goblins tirelessly going at their financial duties. Just avoid disturbing them at their desks lest they drop a curse on you. If you're short on galleons, this would be an ideal opportunity to convert your Muggle money for shopping. Looking to blend in with the locals while simultaneously sporting some stylish duds? Visit Madame Malkin's Robes for all occasions, where you can find anything from dress robes to traveling cloaks, from school uniforms to the pointiest of hats. If entertainment is what you're looking for, pop on by Weasley's Wizarding Wheezes, a joke shop unrivaled across the entire world. From fantastical fireworks to love potions, trick wands to candy designed to make you sick, and even a portable swamp, this shop conjured up by the Weasley twins Fred and George is never short on fun. Feeling peckish after a long day of hitting the shops? Take a seat and enjoy the peace and quiet of Rosalie Teabag while sipping a cup of Earl Grey, or grab a more substantial bite to eat at the Leaky Cauldron, located at the very entrance of Diagon Alley. Satisfy your sweet tooth with a magical confection from Sugar Plum Sweet Shops, where you can get your hands on a pack of Drooble's Best Blowing Gum, or a chocolate frog complete with a magical trading card, or stop over at Florian Fortescue's Ice Cream Parlor for some truly unique flavors. Beware, located off of Diagon Alley is the less reputable Nocturne Alley, a shadowy and foreboding place where the less savory sorts peddle dark wares and forbidden services. It is a dangerous place for magic users, and even more so for careless Muggles. Keep clear. The wilds of nature. The Wizarding World isn't just limited to its great cities or ancient structures. You can find its touch extending out into the very wilds of nature. If you know the right spots, you can find creatures as tiny as the diminutive yet troublesome pixie, to as majestic and beautiful as the fabled unicorn, to as large and destructive as mighty giants. One such place to find a variety of such beasts and wildlife is the ominous Forbidden Forest, located off the grounds of Hogwarts School for Witchcraft and Wizardry. Unkempt and untamed, the Forbidden Forest is a large stretch of woodland that can at times seem endless. The deeper one travels within, the taller and more encompassing the trees become, until they blanket out the sky completely. It is advised to be very careful in such spots, as the branches can be home to terrible creatures such as hordes of ravenous acromantulae, giant spiders who will waste no time wrapping up prey in their sticky webs.
Can we panic now?
Provided you can maintain a safe distance, entomologists will find fascinating opportunities for study here. While hunting within the forest is forbidden, naturalists will thrill at the wide variety of magical plants and animals within. Vegetation such as the animated Whomping Willow Tree or the Shrieking Mandrake will provide excellent study, provided you take safety precautions, while pictures of the bark-skinned Beautruckles or a wild centaur huntsman will leave your colleagues in the Muggle world green with envy. And if you catch a glimpse of a skeletal thestral on your visit, you have our condolences for your loss. Located within the valleys below the spires of Hogwarts School is the picturesque Great Lake. This freshwater body is a half-mile in diameter and is renowned by many for both its natural beauty and the vast array of wildlife within. Due to Muggle encroachment across the lands, this lake functions partly as a sanctuary for displaced magical creatures. It is home to the aquatic Selkies, vicious little Grindylows, and most famously a domesticated giant squid. Despite this intimidating creature's size, swimming is welcome and encouraged as long as swimmers don't stray too far or deep into the waters. The squid is quite friendly, and those that encounter it can relish the awe-inspiring experience of tickling its tentacles on sunny days. Though note that due to its northern location, the waters may be a bit cold for the unprepared. Fishing is welcome long as one doesn't encroach on Selkie territory, and those who wish to venture farther out across the lake may wish to step onto the shores of Beautruckle Island. This little island is home to the shy and peaceful Beautruckles, who will not show themselves unless they trust those they see. If you are one of the lucky few who manage to befriend these little plant folk, you will find the experience a rewarding one. History and beauty. There is probably no location in all of the Wizarding world that can truly match the fame and historical significance to its population as Hogwarts School for Witchcraft and Wizardry. Founded in the 10th century, Hogwarts has served as both one of the greatest institutions for learning in the ways of magic, as well as a fortress against the malicious plans of evil invaders from across the globe. Should this be your first trip into the world of magic, arranging a tour of Hogwarts should be an absolute must on your agenda. Located within the scenic Scottish Highlands, Hogwarts is a mighty spired castle situated upon the rocky hills overlooking the grand loch below known as the Great Lake. The trees of the Forbidden Forest border its edges, and upon its expansive grounds one can find gardens, greenhouses, grasslands, and for the most of the year, plenty of students. While on tours of the grounds, it is requested that you do not interact with the student body, as their studies can be quite engaging and distractions can disturb both them and the busy faculty. Step within the castle proper and be amazed by the Great Hall, a huge room of high spires and long tables where the student body enjoys meals, study time, major announcements, and more. The enchanted ceiling's cycling displays change depending on the time of year you visit, and banners hang celebrating the previous year's winner of the coveted House Cup. Within the towers leading to the dorms and House Commons, admire the grand art collection curated over the centuries, where the subjects of the art come to life, showcasing historical events and fantastic scenes. Feel free to ask them to elaborate on the subject matter. They'll be happy to share their experiences. Just be sure to watch your step on the tall stairs. They often shift randomly and without warning. Be sure to check out Hogwarts' famous Quidditch field. Indisputably the most popular sport of the Wizarding world, Quidditch matches are a sight to see. Marvel at the aerial acrobatics of top student athletes as they compete against both their own houses and other Wizarding schools for the top honors in this sport that combines broomstick fire, physical strength and endurance, quick wits, and a will to win. When arranging your tour, you'll definitely want to schedule it alongside a local Quidditch match and root for your favorite team from the stands. Note that Muggle visitors will only be able to perceive the castle as a collection of ancient collapsed ruins, so be sure your guide provides you the appropriate magical eyewear to make the experience worthwhile. Peace and quiet. One of the best ways to experience both the magical world and the lovely British countryside is to book a trip on the famed Hogwarts Express. This classical red locomotive bellows a cloud of white steam as it makes its exclusive journey from London's King's Cross station to the village of Hogsmeade in the Scottish Highlands. Enjoy comfortable accommodations as the green hills, rivers, lakes, and forests zip by your window. Meals and other amenities are available on the journey, though we would advise avoiding traveling on the first and last days of classes at Hogwarts, as you might find seating limited. Remember to follow your guide's instructions when passing through the magical barrier at platform 9 3/4 to avoid any possible injuries. Upon exiting the Hogwarts Express, you'll find yourself in one of the most frequented villages in Britain. Hogsmeade is located down the hill from Hogwarts School in the gently sloped grassy hills of the Scottish Plains. Populated with shops and restaurants, this little village was founded in the 10th century and serves both its local population as well as tourists seeking a relaxing stay and students who have reached their 3rd year. Visitors can enjoy the quiet and serenity of this sleepy little town throughout the year. Settle into your room at the 3 Broomsticks Inn, and then grab yourself a tasty butterbeer before you sample the local color. Honeyduke's Sweet Shop is a popular stop where you can get your sugar rush on with sweets including, but not limited to, chocolate cauldrons, jelly slugs, no-melt ice cream, pumpkin fizz, tooth-splintering strong mints, and more. Zonko's Joke Shop has a wide range of gags and magical goods for the practical joker in you, or you can putter around Dervish and Bangs looking for some interesting magical knickknacks and doodads to bargain for. Off the beaten path, many tourists make a special little trip up the hill to take a gander at the creepy, shrieking shack. This ramshackle house, so dilapidated that it appears as though it could collapse at any moment, is rumored to be one of the most haunted houses in all of Great Britain. Even with all the doors and windows secured and sealed, some nights passers-by report the sounds of strange noises and howls from within.
Extreme Adventure!
Considered almost unanimously to be the height of sport, Quidditch is better described as a phenomenon within the wizarding community. While the matches between schools can be fierce and a sight to see, the annual Quidditch World Cup is a spectacle that will make even the grandest Muggle sporting event look like toddler play. Spirited between different locations to avoid detection by the non-magical world, the Cup has been going strong since 1473 and draws in crowds from across the globe. Held within a truly massive sub-Terran arena, you can cheer on your favorite teams among thousands of other fans. Magical displays, death-defying aerial combat, and the ear-shattering chants by the fans will leave your heart pounding. Some matches can last for days, so be sure to get plenty of sleep beforehand so you won't miss a moment. Arranging a trip to what is reputed to be the most secure prison in all of the wizarding world is a daunting task indeed, but for those looking to truly experience the wizarding world at its darkest, there is no darker mark than Azkaban Prison. Once haunted by the dread Dementors and later guarded by wizarding police known as Aurors, this facility was virtually impenetrable and known to suck all the joy and warmth out of those it holds. Visitors are now only allowed under the most stringent of circumstances, either by political connection or to visit low-level prisoners, though even this is far more access than previously, when only the Dementors staffed the location. Souvenirs. Virtually any item you bring home to show your friends and family from the wizarding world will wow and astonish those around you. Grab a selfie where the picture always moves, or a newspaper where the news of the day changes and updates. Show off your stylish wizarding threads from the clothiers, or share a box of the sometimes delicious, sometimes disgusting Bertie Bott's box of every flavor beans with the kids. From magic brooms to authenticated replicas of golden snitches, magical items are only limited by the imaginations of the creators and the money in your pocket, so the possibilities for souvenirs can be endless. Be warned, however, that the Ministry of Magic will regulate what you leave with, making sure nothing too noticeable makes its way into the Muggle world, lest their secrets be revealed. Closing. So far, and yet so close, the wizarding world is an eye-opening experience that will leave you amazed and hungering for more. A land of both adventure and enchantment, with amazing people and sights to behold, a trip here can be the ideal vacation for those not looking to stray too far from home. Let's go! Thanks for watching. Where in the wizarding world would you go for your dream vacation? Leave a comment below, and remember to hit those like and subscribe buttons, plus the bell to get notifications. See you out there!